It is 6 o'clock. I will now call to order the November 4th, 2019 meeting of the Easthampton Conservation Commission. The meeting is being recorded. Are there any public concerns, non-agenda items? Okay, being none, we will move on to public hearings and meetings. First item, public hearing continued from October 21st, 2019. Bundled notice of intent filed by the City of Easthampton, Mass. DEP file number 151307. Applicant is seeking an order of conditions for various routine, non-exempt maintenance activities.
We're continuing.
All right, is there a motion to continue? Motion to November 18th at 6 p.m.
Motion to continue to November 18th
At 6 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Can we pause for 1 second?
Sure.
Yeah.
Copy the agenda.
Excuse me.
Your OneDrive is full.
The next one.
Oh, thank you.
It's new in here. This just a part of that letter and that review that I told you guys about.
Okay.
No.
Thank you.
She was able to send me.
All right. So just to be courteous, Kelly, you're here for an update on Westview Terrace. And Sarah, you're here for...
CFM Properties.
Okay, so how do we feel about going out of order because we can talk about this and let these people on to their evenings?
No problem.
All right, that's fine. We can just slip slide, switch.
That's for CFM Properties.
Okay, so we are going out of agenda order as soon as we get the nod from our diligent note taker. All right.
Let me try one more time.
Is that what the OneDrive is?
What's happening, I'm just trying to copy the agenda in, and it's not copying, it's not pasting with the formatting.
Because it's a PDF or because it's a... Okay. I know, I switched to PDFs. I'll maybe switch back to Word documents in the future. I'm sorry.
Okay.
What time did you call to order? The meeting's 6 o'clock. Okay.
That's what's clip.
You make a motion.
Yes.
Okay. All right, we are moving out of order to item 5, enforcement actions. A, CFM Properties LLC, complete automotive repair, 10 O'Neill Street, map 114, lot 31.
Yes.
Would you care to come on up
It's
and...
actually under CFM. Complete Automotive has nothing to do with this. They're two separate businesses.
Oh, okay.
So that, they rent from
We can
CFM.
strike that from...
Which is no big deal. What it is, I did clear too much.
Could you just introduce yourself for the record?
My
That's
name's Chris
all.
Falls. I'm
Thank you.
one of the owners of CFM Properties. Back in October, I'm thinking it was around that Halloween storm, the place got leveled back here. It was all smaller trees, and it looked terrible.
October 2011.
Something like that.
That was Snowtober.
I don't even have pictures or
Was that
anything. and it's-
that really bad one that knocked out
Yes,
power for days?
yeah.
Okay.
So it looked terrible. I didn't clean it up, and this section back here was already cleared because the kids from the school have a nature trail, and they actually, which I didn't know about it, they were on my property, and they cleared it out and had a nice little thing where they sat down, and I didn't complain. They're kids. But as far as like the wetlands, you're never gonna see wetlands back there again because when the town or whoever put this
That was
Big-
the bank?
The bank. It's so dry back there now, they stop every bit of water that comes down that hill. But best thing to do, I think, is you guys do
Site
a
visit?
site visit and
Yeah.
tell me what I gotta do to make it better.
I'm
Hello?
fine with that. So I just want to make sure we have it, so we have an understanding. So you're saying during the October 2011?
I think.
You think?
I
To
think.
the, yeah, no,
But
yeah.
this was nothing, at the time, it was all little small, like whippets and white pines, a lot of little white pines. So it just busted a lot of stuff off, and we
So-
don't store cars there, we just park, we get super busy there, so sometimes we just pull them up there. They might sit for 2-3 days before a customer picks them back up, but other than that, that's pretty much it. And this is all wetlands now. We developed a whole bunch down here, which you guys will
The
see.
stormwater basin?
Oh, yeah.
So were you part of the project when this was built?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so you were part of the whole
Mhm.
notice of
Oh, yeah.
intent, order of condition? Okay.
Exactly.
So, the site plans that show this is in the 100-foot buffer zone, and that's
Yeah.
the area that the commission has jurisdiction under.
You got it.
So, I don't know if it's gonna be feasible to get out there before the snow flies on Friday.
Probably
Sure,
not.
if anyone
but-
else is free. You can make it
So
happen
I
on
would,
Wednesday.
I would say, I know I probably have, I'd be getting one of the least flexible schedules, so I would say, Cassie, if you can coordinate, or do you guys want to throw some dates out, and what times are most?
Doesn't matter.
We don't want to interfere with business.
Oh, well, the daytime is super busy. That's for, in and out. We do state inspections and it's crazy in there.
Okay.
Weekends are always the best time to take a walk by.
Yeah, we
Is
really
that-
just need one person to walk around with a, that would be great
Yeah,
if someone could
yeah.
just walk around with us, but we shouldn't need to go into the, like, the building or.
No, we don't need to go into the
Yeah,
building.
so-
The building is not our,
Yeah, so that we shouldn't
Jurisdiction.
interfere work, hopefully, and then, it's supposed to potentially snow on Friday.
Yeah.
So we could do before then, but then, I don't know, if it's only a little bit of snow, we could maybe do the weekend, or?
yeah, I think it all depends on the conditions.
Right.
So, are you there daily?
Yeah, just about every day.
Just
You
about-
can contact me anytime on my cell. I think you guys have my cell phone now.
Whatever the number you gave me today, if that's
Yeah,
the
that's
best to contact
perfect.
you? Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So, is there anyone in particular who could flexible and accommodating? Thank you. So, but you said weekends are the best.
Whatever works for you guys will work for me. I'll make it work one way
Could
or
you
another.
do Saturday morning? I'm just thinking like
We can do it
daylight
tomorrow
or tomorrow.
Yeah, because
Any
I
day this week.
Okay.
was going to go this weekend, but I don't have to, so I
Well,
can.
actually, tomorrow I'm off.
Okay,
I'm
not
not gonna be there tomorrow.
Would you have
Um,
availability on a Wednesday?
Wednesday'd be fine.
Would that work for you? Because that would be.
Yeah, I can.
Anybody else? Because that would be
Wednesday?
great, yeah.
Wednesday at what time? Because it's dark
It's
at
dark
by it's dark by 5 at the
Yeah,
latest.
I think
So,
honestly, I could really do any time, but after.
is there a particular
noon
time
would
of
be
day
better,
that's
but.
better?
2:33.
that
Do
would
you
be-
guys do 2:30? Okay. Pick your time.
What?
Since we're all here.
2:30.
All right. So 2:30 on Wednesday, November 6th, and they'll meet with you on site.
Perfect.
You guys, if your parking lot is really busy, I think you guys might consider parking in the lower bank lot, or
Yeah.
walking down.
Yeah,
Just-
we've actually had, I know Betsy that has the hairdresser, she parks some of her cars up there as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that way we,
Walking on site will kind of make more sense of it. It was pretty bad. I cleaned it up, but it wasn't supposed to, but it looked terrible.
Yeah.
And the building's brand new. Everything looks pretty nice and, but this is all wetlands down here, which is, there's no way wetlands would grow up there now with this
So-
big detention pond there. It's,
So this is the buffer zone. So this was never the
Correct.
wetland itself. The wetland's back here.
well, this is, I don't know who owns this. I know the kids have a lot of spots that are all cut open there and they got little nature trails and,
I think that might be a good one, Cassie, to look into, just because I do recall the school coming before us
That's correct.
about some improving the landscape back here for outdoor activities.
Do you remember which school?
Pioneer Valley, Hilltown Charter School.
yeah.
Thank you.
Charter School.
And it's one industrial parkway, maybe? Something industrial parkway.
Probably one, it's the first one in this.
Yeah. So, okay, so we'll have you guys go out, do a site visit, just kind of get a sense of the landscape there.
Yeah, we can kind of explain it
And
in
then,
person there.
yeah, exactly, maybe take some photos for the rest of our benefit, and then we'll, have you guys go out, do a site visit, just kind of get a sense of the landscape there. And then, yeah, exactly, maybe take some photos for the rest of our benefit, and then we'll have you guys go out, do a site visit, just kind of get a sense of the landscape there. And then we'll, have you guys go out, do a site visit, just kind of get a sense of the landscape there. And then we'll have you guys go out, do a site visit, just kind of get a sense of the landscape there. And then we'll have you guys go out, do a site visit, just kind of get a sense of the landscape there. And then we'll have you guys go out, do a site visit, just kind of get a sense of the landscape there. And then we'll have you guys go out, do a site visit, just kind of get a sense of the landscape there. And then we'll have you guys go out, do a site visit, just kind of get a sense of the landscape there. And then we'll have you guys go out, do a site visit, just kind of get a sense of the landscape there. And then we'll have you guys go out, do a site visit, just kind of get a sense of the landscape there. we can meet on that.
So there weren't cars parked back there?
And I put cars there when we got really busy, and then it's just the parking lot gets so bad. With inspection, I'll have 10 cars waiting for a sticker. You know, we got 38 parking spots with 3 businesses, so it just got tough. There was nothing that was permanently parked there, you know, so.
Okay.
But we're still not supposed to do it. We're wrong. I made a mistake. I do know that, so.
Thank you so much for coming in
Okay.
tonight. Thank you for setting up the site
2:30?
so quickly,
2:30
too.
on Wednesday the 6th.
Okay.
If that works with you, that'd be
That'll
great.
work.
And, yeah, we'll just see there. I will go to the shop and meet it there.
Perfect. If any change, just call me.
Okay, thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
See you soon. Thank you, too.
So, just to give you a heads up, we went slightly out of agenda order. So, but everything starts at the same time, so you haven't missed anything.
Okay.
And even if you had, we could go back.
Okay.
So, just quick, we'll just jump ahead to item 5D, Saranac Westview Terrace, map 165, lot 47. Could you introduce yourself?
Kelly Cahill.
Thank you. Have a seat, please.
So I did try to send pictures. We were at
Yeah.
the last meeting, May 20th. We had talked at that time about the invasive management. So we did get out there that week after that meeting and we pulled the olive, garlic mustard, bittersweet. I did talk to Cassie recently because I had not been out there since then and didn't have any work, so I just wanted to be honest about that.
Okay.
Can you say again, when did that work?
The week of May 20th through May 25th of this year. And then I went out in October just to kind of get a glimpse of what was going on. And that's when I took pictures.
So October 15th.
Yes, yes. And actually, so the seeds, that wetland plant seed work, I was impressed that it really took. That, so this was the picture from December when we had seeded, and then that's the same view, so it really did fill in nicely.
It's kind of neat to put nearly terrible in there.
It's not invasive, right?
No, it's not.
No.
It's native. It's just, it's mean.
Yeah,
It has a toothed,
Yeah.
it's toothed stems, and
Yeah.
they just tear your flesh.
Oh, God.
And the delicate little white flowers that just float, and you don't notice it until it's too late.
Yeah. So I had talked to Cassie too because the weeds or growth is pretty tall right now, and I couldn't locate all the trees to do a formal count. And I did not want to disrupt any of the growth until I talked to you because I didn't know if it's customary to trim around the trees we've planted. I didn't want to touch anything until I knew how to proceed and what to do.
So I'd say all the herbaceous stuff, we've had 2 hard frosts, so all the herbaceous stuff, as long as it's not, the roots aren't disturbed, is gonna be fine to trample and
Okay.
whack.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to manage it specifically,
Right.
but you want to find, if you want to find the saplings, maybe put some flagging on them that's brightly colored
Okay.
to make it easier in the future, because you're right, some of the herbaceous stuff can outgrow the saplings just because it grows faster.
Okay.
And then I'd say you can manage back around the roots of the sapling, just so it
So they're not
doesn't get
competing
over,
for-
yeah, so they're not competing for
I mean, we did do the pine needles around the
Right.
base of them all, but it seems like they were overcome, taken by
Yeah,
the plants, so.
yeah. So
um,
I'd say that's fine, and, yeah, if, to do a site visit, you need to weed whack or, take a machete or whatever, or snip your way through a little bit to get to those locations, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, I just
Cool.
wasn't sure, I didn't want
Yeah, I
people to have
appreciate
the
that.
trips through, and, because I was covered with
All the things.
prickers and ticks, and so, but maybe after a couple of frosts, it would take them down a little
The
bit.
ticks will not take down.
No, I know they won't.
Yeah.
Plenty of experience with those, but, so it's okay to
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or just like stomp it down.
Yeah, as long as we make this right. So I don't know if you want to do a site visit or.
I'm gonna leave it to Cassie.
Yeah, I know you had more of a schedule than I do in terms of when you are or not available. I don't know, you need to be present for the site visit, or?
I think it would be
better?
helpful
Okay.
because Kelly has
it's a big
the,
property.
it's
Oh,
a
okay.
big property, it's easy
Yeah.
to get
Turn around.
turned around. Kelly definitely knows it.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess then the question is, what is your availability, and then we can see how we can work around that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I have a few machetes. I'm
Cool,
willing
cool.
to.
Just a few.
Would you prefer that I tag the trees prior to the visit or?
If you could, I think that would be really helpful.
If you have time.
Because otherwise we're gonna be looking for them while we're out
Right,
there.
and that would just take a lot of
Yeah.
time. So I can't do that until Sunday, the 10th, because of the time change now. So,
Yeah.
and I have to work Saturday. So if the 10th would be okay, and then after that, the 15th, I have all day, that's a Friday. If
Okay, so why don't we do the site visit on the 15th?
Cool. That sounds
Okay.
good.
And then that way it's before our next meeting on the 18th.
Yes, perfect.
So-
And I can just,
At what time?
yeah, is there a time in particular, or?
No.
Yeah, honestly, any time is fine. That's one of my, maybe around noon, it's my Greenfield day, but I'm also the conservation agent in that city, but I feel like that can be my lunch hour, and I'll just come out and do that, and then make it move it around that way, so I think it should be fine.
Okay.
And then, if anybody else can go with me, that's cool, but it's okay if it's just me, I think.
And if that changes, just let me know
Okay.
if you need more time, because I'll keep it pretty open.
Yeah, okay, so we'll say.
The good news is there's nothing growing anymore.
Yeah.
So, have that going for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's Friday 15th at noon.
Okay.
Great.
And I'll meet you at do you know where the entrance is by the bike path there on South Street?
Yeah,
It's
you know what,
just
now that I'm
next to
thinking about it though, maybe it would make more sense to do it, I don't want to get into too much darkness too close to that, but maybe we should do at the end of the day. I could just end my day there. Would that be okay later?
That's
Sorry
fine.
to change
No,
it.
don't be sorry, it's fine.
let's
I would
do-
leave a couple hours.
Yeah, so
Like,
let's.
don't start any later than 3 if you can.
Okay,
Does that make
We were
sense?
there for a while last time,
okay,
trekking to the woods.
right. All right, so maybe, what do you think, 2:30 or 3?
3?
3 o'clock?
3
Okay.
Okay. If I have everything marked though, it shouldn't, I mean, that your interests right now are to see the saplings and just the general
revegetation.
regrowth
Yeah.
and future.
And Cassie's new to the site,
Yeah.
so we want her to have some
Yeah.
familiarity.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be helpful.
Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank
Have a nice
Thank
night.
you. Yes.
See you soon.
If there's any.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Right, so let's go back to the next item for which someone is present, which is item 4A, request for certificates of compliance. Public meeting continued from October 21st, 2019. Request for certificate of compliance, DEP file number 151264, filed by Miri Realty for an order of conditions related to completed work for WR Grayson Company on 19 Milka Way, map 164, lot 2. Okay, so there's been some additional information. Yeah, I'm breaking. Additional information for the file, these two letters?
That's correct, and then also some communication with, did I have communication with Mark Stinson? Hold on.
Okay.
Oh no, I don't think I did actually. He actually wasn't able to give me any extra information, unfortunately.
Okay.
But yes, it's mainly those 2 reviews.
Okay, so there is a September 3rd, 2019 letter from...
And I don't know if you want to explain. She had.
You're
also
more than welcome to
information,
introduce yourself and come on up for the...
I have very little information besides what's in front of me.
Okay, but you can, so just for the, so there are 2 letters here from Environmental Risk Advisors, LLC. One is dated September 3rd, 2019, and the other is dated October 9th, 2019.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's as obvious in those reports, but you had been telling me about work that had been going on there, but requested by DEP, like maintenance work of that cap.
Maintenance work, like landscaping work to make sure that the vegetation doesn't grow up. They don't want.
Yeah, a
anything
cap
grow-
has been placed over
Yeah,
the area.
exactly.
So
Because
you have to manage to keep the cap, the barrier intact.
Yeah.
Okay, so no woody vegetation's allowed, I'm guessing, on the cap,
Yes.
so.
So
It's been done there.
they have to consistently maintain it.
And is that an in perpetuity
Yeah.
thing? And
Yes.
who is responsible for maintaining the vegetation?
Whoever's the owner at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So
That stinks. Okay. Alright, so.
Good.
Bless you. Thank you. So this is a proposal. Yes.
There might be multiple dates of communication. One of
October
them is
9th
multiple,
appears to
yeah.
be a,
And then it.
oh, there's an
carries on,
October
yeah.
2nd correspondence as well, yes. From the same people. Oh, interesting, okay. All right, so. So the site was closed out under has a deed restriction,
Mhm,
activity and
yes.
use limitation. What is an NOAF? Do you know?
I am not sure. Yeah.
My guess would be notice of something findings, but adverse maybe? Notice of adverse findings?
Yeah, but and it's followed by notice of non-compliance, NON.
I bet that's my guess.
Yeah, it's just not a term.
What follows? There's a description that follows after it.
Well, most of the terms get defined
Mhm.
or. Should be cut and no lower. Okay, so don't disturb the ground surface period. October 2nd? Nope, different.
It seems like same language, but different.
Yeah, one was described as a letter and the other as a review,
Mm-hmm.
a peer review. And the document that doesn't have the pictures is much larger. It has
Notice
a
of
lot
audit
more.
finding.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Massachusetts Department of Environment.
There you go. They do audit
Good
AULs.
shade.
So this letter has photos attached to the area to the north of the building,
Okay.
along the bike path. And we did know that is very clearly a landfill cap. So, the wetlands were south, right, and on either side of the bike path. You weren't here.
I wasn't there. Yeah, I don't know. Keep looking at me.
Hello, Mr. Butcher. Excellent time. I told you not to come.
Who's that guy?
Let the record reflect that Mr. Buttrick has joined us. So this is the request for certificate of compliance for WR Grace, 19 Womelco Way. There's been some additional information. So there's been an AUL. So I guess what I'm hung up on here is that our jurisdiction is the wetlands.
Mhm.
And it's good to see that the site was remediated and that the AUL is being maintained. But the permit authorized the impact of like just shy of 5,000 square feet of bordering vegetated wetlands and their in situ restoration. And I don't think we've ever gotten any documentation that the areas were restored.
Okay.
And I So signing off on the order of conditions means that we say that the work was done. You know, the options are limited. It was either done in part, in full, or not at all. So I'm sympathetic to the current owner's desire to close this out. I just don't know that we have the information that demonstrates that the previous parties implemented the order and restored the wetlands.
Okay.
Is that, so the previous,
The certificate of compliance is not even for the previous owners, it's for
Oh, I know,
the
it's
previous
for-
owners.
I know, and really it should never have, you know, theoretically it should never have gone,
No, yeah.
and you wouldn't be dealing with it.
Yeah.
So I sympathize with that and the limited amount of information that you have access to. I think, so the notice of intent was filed by O'Reilly, Talbot, and Oaken, who were somehow involved in the project at the time. Has anyone reached out to them as follow-up on this, with the kind of the plea that the owner's trying to close out the...
Not that I was aware. I did speak to Cassie about one of the companies that filed the NOI, I believe.
Yeah, for us, I would think it was that one that I referenced, maybe.
So it was
And-
filed by W.R. Grayson Company.
Right, then that must be what it was, yeah. But I
Oh.
remember, yeah, it was just, you were able to give me those documents, the ones that you guys are reviewing right now. And we weren't sure, I kind of left it up to you if you wanted to get those numbers. like,
Yeah,
I don't know if any of them will work, is the thing.
Yeah,
Is that
I
what that
can
organization
reach
exists?
out to them. I just, I don't know. And ask them what was done. I don't know
Yeah.
if they would have that information even. 'Cause
Yeah, no, I'm sighing heavily because it's a tricky position to be in. But I would, if you could, I would reach out to O'Reilly, Talbot, and Oaken. And Cassie, if you could touch base with Mark Stinson,
Yeah,
and just kind of explain the predicament.
okay.
But, I mean, if anyone has an opinion they want to share or discuss further.
No, I mean, I agree that we need to have something to know
If they did
if
what
they
they were
did the work,
supposed
or
to
we
do.
can't sign off that they did the work.
Right.
with the restoration.
Yeah, it's really the restoration. So this is in the notice of intent, in section 5, they lay out a whole restoration plan, including monitoring and reporting.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we've ever gotten any of that documentation.
Okay.
So that's...
So the wetland monitoring.
Yeah. So if you were to, would it be
How is
helpful if
that
we...
described? Is that
So could we, Cassie, can we make a copy of these pages
Yeah.
for her right now?
Yeah.
And we'll just- Absolutely. Sorry, it's these pages. And that way you can, have it to
some
take
kind of
with you.
reference
Right.
for what I'm looking for from
Right.
them.
Is the site plan in there? I have a memory of, there was an area of impact that was off that property on a.
There's a lovely empty pocket.
May, oh. So I guess I'm wondering, like, I feel like there was a city parcel involved to.
The bike path.
The bike path, and maybe the city would have gotten documentation, although I sort of doubt it, related to restoration. And EPA may have also gotten some kind of documentation because it was a Superfund
It's a
project.
Superfund project.
My
So
recollection.
there are references to John McEwen at EPA and Catherine Wannett at DEP.
Do you also want a copy of the,
The letter with all the numbers and
Yeah.
names. Oh, I'm too many pages here. Yeah, no, that's fine, this is just. So that's for you. Okay.
There was a problem during permitting because the bike path permitting was happening at the same time and the BVW flags didn't line up between the two projects, so I'm sure the files got mixed up together. Yes.
Do we want to look in the files right now?
Maybe for the bike path project, they might show something.
Does anyone want to guess what the bike path might be?
B for bike. P for path. T for trail.
What's a bike?
Yes.
I'm wondering if the planning department files may have something, or if, you know, these files may end up in the planning department's files, because those were Stewart era, right?
A lot of Mass Highway in
Yeah.
this drawer.
Dan, how you been? I missed
It's been
you.
all right. I apologize for the meeting if I didn't show up. That was a bummer.
So under this, they should have
So
been
paying for
reporting
that.
to the Concom each year,
Yeah.
no later than December 15th. And they never reported anything.
Not to my recollection.
The other thing, I guess, I don't know, there's the process to go through, laid out in all the permitting documents for restoration, but then there's also like, you know, the idea is that there's an outcome that mitigation be provided of a certain area. I guess I wonder if we had a delineation that showed that the replication was achieved, even if we don't have the documentation as to how it got to that point, if that, how the other members would think that would be sufficient to show that, you know, the work had occurred.
We would need some sort of documentation from a wetland scientist, though, to prove that it's actually functioning the way it's supposed to, right?
Yeah, but like a site visit and delineation might be easier than going down some EPA document rabbit hole.
Right. But at this point, we don't even know where the area of mitigation was supposed to be, correct? Because we don't have the plans.
Sounds like not.
I looked in the emails, I don't see it in the emails.
Are you on the board then?
Just barely, yeah.
Yeah. Was what, 8 years ago? 8 to 9 years ago?
9
probably?
years ago.
Yeah.
You guys are old school. We did have a site visit, but there was no reference documents to look to see.
What to look for?
Right.
Is up for grabs?
Yes. All those are too.
I'll have it snippets for you.
Straight.
What was the date for that first site visit?
Hold on.
That's the Moultrie House. November 6th.
November 6th?
For what? Oh, the, oh, I thought you meant for heat for this property. You're talking about the scheduled one.
Yeah.
We have one scheduled for Wednesday, November 6th at 2:30 for,
Yes, O'Neill Street.
yep, 10 O'Neill Street. Complete automotive repair.
What day?
The 6th, Wednesday, the 6th.
Oh, good. I can do this.
That's what you like, huh?
What's today, Monday? What time?
2:30, is that it?
You wanted to.
And then the next one, there's another week scheduled. You want to hear that one?
November 15th.
October, no, not, sorry, October. Yes, on the 15th, November 15th,
3 p.m.
3 p.m., that's right.
I think that's the other
I think
one.
it's a Friday.
Wednesday.
I think we found the plans.
Oh,
Okay,
no
so
way.
Riley, is that where you're looking at?
Yeah.
Excavation areas are in purple. Wetland impact. Wetland impact. This numbers.
What's the date on this now?
It's in the same application, right?
Oh, 2010.
What day? Surveyor says 21.
July 21st, 2010.
And the plan is dated July 22nd, 2010.
Yeah, this one's 7/22, but then it says revised, received 8/23.
Right. Because that didn't look like almost 5,000 square feet. Yeah, this is 40.
These are the areas I was thinking on, they're not parcel.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I remember wondering how they were gonna get here
Yep.
for that wetland impact. Drone?
These are
Yeah.
mitigated
Those are the excavation areas.
What's the
So
excavating in this little square?
they must have had asbestos in soil above a certain concentration.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, let's go through the file more to see if there's any reporting of compliance monitoring.
I'm 100% sure I didn't remember any.
Oh, that's 2010. So how many prior conditions issued?
Discuss that.
I don't have the file.
Yeah. When stuff could have come in and just got shoved in a pile,
The 26th,
but
sometime in 20,
Some information.
December
I think the
2010.
commission's attention we would have heard about it.
I have photos
This
from
is response to
February
comments
13th,
during the hearing,
2012.
Okay.
which has some details as to wetlands
Really?
remediation ideas.
Oh, yeah, we did those. Not all those.
Can you, is that for the site?
That was from February 13th of 2012,
Okay.
after, we did a site visit there.
Can you send this to me?
Yeah.
Not right now, later.
This was probably, was this for the rail trail project?
It was for this
Yeah.
project, I believe.
Oh, for this
I
project?
think it was, yeah.
Oh, how about that?
Because they were doing work out there.
Well, we didn't know to look on the other side, on the rail
Well, I was
trail.
looking on the other side. I mean, they took pictures of the other side.
Property owners, I'm guessing.
I mean, everything is all,
Okay, so the order was issued
everything's all grown in.
August 30th,
It
2010.
looked good.
Signed it.
That the DP sign up and other stuff out.
Copies, this one is dated differently.
That's the recording date,
Oh, okay.
read and understood. But frankly, we have a recorded copy. We don't need this copy because we have the recorded copy. Dan, you and I signed this.
Others.
Jay didn't sign it?
Oh, well,
You never
he
know.
might have.
Another plan.
That's me.
Is it?
That's Chris.
Oh, right.
Yeah, no, I didn't sign it. That's probably Chris.
No, that's not you right there?
Oh, that's,
Yeah,
could
that's
be.
you.
No,
Wait a
that's
minute, you
really-
can't even identify your
No, that's
own.
not really,
You weren't on this email. Peter Cleary,
I don't know what this is.
yeah.
you weren't on this email.
No, so,
I went to college with Peter Cleary.
Hmm?
I went to college with Peter Cleary.
Did you really?
We have what appear to be EMS.
Small world.
Right.
Brown, right? Yeah.
Two nephews at Brown. Same time.
I used to bump into him every so often around, but I don't even
That
bump
was
into him
lovely.
anymore.
I think they live in West.
What are they highlighting here?
Yeah.
Summit. Failure.
Yeah, right by the walk,
We are highlighting failure.
It doesn't look like that now.
No, it
I
doesn't,
used
you're
to see
right.
him and his wife at the Apple a Day 5K.
So it may need to be
yeah.
replaced by hand.
I don't know, I could have sworn I saw a sign like a couple weeks ago, but
So
I know
this
they
appears to be coming.
skipped a year, and then I don't know.
Cassie's getting famished.
Good old days.
Don't leave it here. You're not over.
I'll take two. Pretty demolished like 10.
There's no thank you.
I'm guessing there was some erosion control failure event.
Can we put a bigger table in our budget request for next year?
No, yeah, it's upstairs.
Yeah.
Do you really want this?
No.
Then,
Then no.
I like those
Keep quiet.
chairs.
This is a new table too, didn't we used to have another table?
we did.
Yeah,
My
but this one
gracious.
like isn't really any
So
bigger.
many photos of that.
Well, you're an
failure.
extra person. Right, I'm in your, seriously? It's an empty.
This is a number of.
Yeah.
Okay, then it's.
Oh, hey, look
Yeah.
at this. You have restored
Yeah,
portion
it's
of
too
wetland
small.
A
Yes.
zone.
Buffer zone. Restored portion of wetland B,
Restored
August
portion of wetland C.
2011. Okay, we have 1 year
Getting
of
somewhere.
report.
I don't remember that at all.
Can I write down
Progress
this
of
piece of
restored
paper?
area. This is clearly part of something bigger that we don't seem to have. That's the.
Where did it come from? Whose name is it?
There's the prohibited plants list. That's wonderful to have.
It's a wetland restored monitoring report. There's no name on it.
It has to have.
Here, yeah, 2011, former W.R. Grace. Here's some more. Oh,
Find that.
This is also part of it. The plan.
it's from OTO.
This is appendix A.
So OTO in their December 14th, 2011 wetland restoration monitoring report concluded that the wetland performance standard of 75% cover was exceeded within restored portions of wetlands B and C during the first growing season. You know that?
Is there anything they found that they didn't?
Here, this goes this way. And there are the limitations. God, I didn't put that over there. Okay.
So it's 1 year.
You know, I guess what do we want to do? Do we want to say that the spirit
Mm-hmm.
and it achieved 75% in the first year?
I just want to make sure there's nothing. What was achieved that wasn't working?
75%, greater than 75% vegetative cover.
We need a site visit, and
Yep.
use of that would equate to what we'd need to see, but.
Vegetated, no soil erosion observed.
A remarkable feat given those photos were presented earlier.
Got my permit Southampton.
Construction equipment was parked within the restoration area and it crushed one planted serviceberry. Well, that's gonna be a problem.
For that service berry it is.
And this is probably why we didn't get more, because they did not believe further monitoring was warranted and sought approval, excuse me, from the Concom to terminate further monitoring.
with you.
Nice.
Okay,
So
think we
assuming
can.
that was granted, then
Let's
we
assume,
have full compliance.
let's reference the date of this report. I don't think we're gonna. Anymore. We gotta try to put that together with a stapler.
B was. Was it number B?
If it
Ah,
closes out, we don't need it.
We have the full report. Here we go.
Sweet, we have a stapler.
Right, and there's only a big one because everyone can staple it.
Okay, thank you. 'cause-
And I think we do have a draft of the certificate of compliance in that one.
All right. Do we have the date of that report in the meeting minutes?
August
No.
3rd,
December
2011. Oh.
December 14th, 2011.
The pictures are from August 3rd.
Got it. Wonder. Okay. All right. Is
Do you
there
want the file number in there too? since it
Yes.
was never in there?
303.
151264? It's an older one.
Oh, it is in
Where
there.
did you find that?
It's okay.
Like, what is
You're still learning our stellar filing system.
What was it filed under? Just,
Wamalka Way,
19
maybe.
Wamalka Way.
wow.
Oh,
Who would
WR
guess?
Grace NOI 2010, Mass DEP file number 151264. 264. Sorry, reading my 6 upside down, I'm like, 2014? Huh?
so we need a motion.
Would anyone care to make a motion on the request for certificate of compliance?
I would motion to issue a complete certification certifying that the work regulated by the above referenced order of conditions has been satisfactorily completed.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Yay.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you looking through all that.
And I'll copy it and give it to you.
If you can just scan it to me.
Yeah,
and
well, do you need someone needs the original
I do, yeah,
to
to
record.
record it.
So what, if you can wait,
I
we'll get a
can-
copy for our files and we'll give you the original.
Okay,
No.
yeah, yeah, I can go record
Okay,
it.
cool.
And then just send me back a thing saying that it's
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
Okay.
That was hard.
All right, now let's try to put this back together.
Yeah, I think it was just a monster file and I was like,
No, it's
No, I know.
all right. There was a lot going on here. What's not helpful is that at some point in time, the site plans, I think, were taken out of the NOI and just left loose in the file. Yes. So, I'm just gonna leave this out for now. You can deal with it. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Someone please pass me another Snickers.
They take up too much room.
Whoa, okay, that was a violent choice.
What do you say?
I feel like the bowl will
There's
refill.
no Skittles
I
there?
know, Mike.
You sent my line, so I sent your line.
Okay, yeah.
How did you know which line was yours?
I don't
You
know.
have a reserved
He
line?
was on the right seat, so. it's
Oh,
out.
I see, yeah.
No, there were no lines left because Jay took 2 lines. So I took 2 lines. But really,
Very family tradition to ask me that question, I think.
I don't know who that is, but.
really ran the gamut of feelings on that one. That was close.
Just emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Well, we've got nothing. Oh, we found something. Oh, we've got enough.
Here's exactly what we need.
If you weren't here, we would be doing this for
We would have just
several
passed right over that. We would not have looked into this any further.
And yet what I said was not helpful at all.
file. Often the things you say aren't, Dan. Okay.
Oh, boy.
I'm just kidding. You guys are deep sarcasm. What? Yeah.
There we go.
I wish.
You're my hero.
You're our hero.
Just, this page is the one on public.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, good night.
All right. All right, we can take that one off the next agenda. Cool. All right, so getting back on track with enforcement actions. Any updates regarding Bernard Gall, 37 South Street?
No.
Okay. Any updates? Hoffman, 298 Loudville Road, map 120, lot 11.
Wait, did you just skip out of property?
Because we already talked about it.
We did?
No, I did. Autumn Properties, LLC, Rear 161 to 165 North Hampton Street. All right.
No.
Okay, no updates.
Easy.
Okay, so we did talk about Saranac. Kaufman, 298 Loudville Road.
Yes, so, I received communication from Mr. Ed Severance, if you remember, that was done.
I do, that was the...
Wait, can you give me the name again?
Ed Severance.
Is that the one?
No, he's the consultant, Severance.
Got that.
Okay.
That was on October 28th, and it was through an email, and this is basically, this is what it read. We just got final confirmation from the homeowners that we are moving forward with the project. Which was the living wall, if you remember. I have contacted the civil engineer to get a timeline for the final design and permitting of the project. I will get that information to you and the commission as soon as I am able. Then he sent it to me. And so this is the timeline as follows. November, site assessment and base plan creation using existing engineering plan. No additional surveying or wetland mapping proposed. December, preliminary plan. January, design of permit level plan. February,
Wait, can you slow down?
Yes, sorry, I don't know best.
December, preliminary plan.
Then January, design of permit level plan.
Okay.
February, present to Conservation Commission.
Okay.
And then March, plan revisions as requested and resubmit to Conservation Commission.
Why do they anticipate plan
They
revisions?
anticipate it.
Because they're not planning on doing a good job. That might be a cynical approach.
They're allowing space for it.
Okay.
And then, okay, April, final plan review by Conservation Commission. And
Rejection. Just kidding.
one more. May, construction weather permitting.
So they're aiming for next construction season. Okay.
Didn't we request that they file by November?
I told them that.
Wasn't that what was in the order?
Yep. So I guess we need to find out if this is their,
Sorry, I'm done. Just done.
if they are requesting a formal modification of the compliance schedule, and just get them to acknowledge that. I think at this point, the fact that there is a representative reaching out to the commission with a schedule to move forward, multiple plan revision opportunities aside, I think it sounds like they're looking to file no later than February 29th, 2020. I need to change those.
And how will he go about making that formal request? Can he just do it by email?
You can ask if he's formally
Okay.
requesting that the compliance schedule be modified,
Okay.
and he can respond. And just get that chain going,
Cool.
because that is a somewhat detailed schedule. And then what you could potentially do, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, is getting a draft of the 2020 schedule together.
Yeah.
If you could just maybe look ahead at what you think the February dates might be and the filing deadlines. And just maybe provide those with a caveat of subject to change
Okay.
pending final 2020 schedule preparation. Then that would, perhaps help them focus on what's going on in February.
Okay.
Or January even.
Okay.
And the first deadline will be January.
Yeah. And so if he, confirms that they are obviously requesting a modification, a formal modification, I just am looking for him to say that.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, all right, I'll communicate that to the commission. Yeah. Okay, cool. He doesn't have to do anything else paperwork-wise or anything. Okay.
No, unless he's changing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess I would make it clear that anything that's ahead of schedule is preferred.
Cool.
Okay, well that's news. Jesse, ready? St. Bridget's Cemetery, Our Lady of
Right.
Valley Parish, Everett Street. What's going on there?
So I was contacted by an abutter
Right.
about the restoration work. What's that?
Right, and you sent some photos?
Yeah, he sent some photos to me. He was concerned, but I cross-checked it with the plans that were submitted by the organization who's doing the restoration work, and it looked like it was consistent with the work that was going to be going on there.
Okay.
I think that he was just concerned because it was the work was suddenly starting and he wasn't sure what was going on. So I was going to communicate that to him, and he seemed satisfied.
Okay.
I think that it's okay so far.
So have you gotten like a progress update on the restoration?
I'm not.
Can you reach
Yeah.
out asking where they stand with things?
Cool.
Okay, and then the next item, Mountain View Investors, 220 Northampton Street, map 114, lot 12.
What is that?
That is the undeveloped parcel of land due south of the former Fedor car dealership.
Here's a picture.
It has been mowed.
Yeah, this is where River Valley Co-op's gonna
Okay.
go. And you can almost see in this top image some evidence of maybe even hydrology.
Right, no, that is the.
So as some commissioners may recall, we had enforcement action several years ago
Yes.
for mowing. Have you had any contact or?
Yeah, no, I haven't contacted them. I had contacted Mark Simpson about it.
Okay.
Was it mowed or was it hayed?
Well, so here's the thing. It hasn't been seeded
5
for
years.
hay.
Okay.
So 5 years is the magic number for formerly agricultural land to lay fallow and no longer have any agricultural activities be considered exempt. And anything after that, including cutting the vegetation down, is just mowing and a violation. It's an alteration that wasn't permitted.
Right.
So as we are aware, 75 to 80% of that field is a bordering vegetated wetland. And, I would want demonstration of actual haying,
Right.
receipts, and
I thought he brought something in once.
sworn statements
Mr. Feeder
from,
brought something in at one point, but
it
was a few
wasn't,
years back,
it's just, it's wetland vegetation, it's not
Yeah,
hay.
right, right.
And it was only cut once at the end of the growing season, and if you're haying, you're cutting 3 times. So to say that that was hayed, I think, would require substantial documentation.
Right. So that's exactly what Mark Simpson said. He said he confirmed that the area is wet based off his mapping. You can see that image, and it has to be corroborated with bills of sale by the property owner. I'm in the process of drafting a letter for them. I just wanted to see what you guys said.
Please do.
With this information, anything particular about that I should add in that order. But
You might want to reference the past enforcement order, which hopefully we have files of.
And who cut it?
I don't know who the property owner is
I don't
now.
know either. So that's why I was gonna try to ask. I didn't find any files for 220 Northampton Street. I guess I'll try for the next
Try
property.
221.
Yeah.
So sometimes addresses, even though that's
Yeah.
the wrong odd even
Yeah.
thing, but I think we had some issues with address because it's an undeveloped parcel.
Right. And I know that they're owned by the same realty company, and I know that Jeff might have some leads as to who you could contact because he's kind of involved in the River Valley Co-op project that's going on there.
But is that a separate
It's
parcel?
a separate parcel, but he said that he might. I think that he was saying something about potentially giving some information about this.
Okay, so the
it's
thing
owned by
about-
the same people. I don't know.
Right, and the thing about that is when the notice of intent for redevelopment of the former Fedor car dealership was filed by River Valley Co-op, the wetland in that field was part of their site plan, that delineation, that wetland boundary and buffer zone was all part of that
Oh.
recent filing.
Okay.
So it's no mystery that there's a giant wetland in that field.
Yeah.
And so the fact that we've taken enforcement action in the past because of mowing / haying and rutting up the wetland is a source of wonder for me.
And one of the things too, when you look at it on the Easthampton city site, and like when it shows out how the parcels are like, the numbering for this parcel is like, it's like 0.1.
0.1.
It's not like a separate, so it might be the same owner.
So do we need to update the lot number in the agenda?
I don't know, I think that that's correct. That is the lot
That's
number
12
that
and the other one is 12.1?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the
That's
one with the
the city
building is
website has that.
12.1.
Okay.
And so, one other thing, Merson said he was able, let's see, so he looked at other years of their aerial imagery that they had, and it didn't look like any agriculture work had been done there. So at least that's another thing to go off of as well. That I can, so should I put, when I write this letter, I should ask for bills of sale? I should ask for, should I cite this evidence that Mark has presented, that he's looked
Yeah.
at? Oh, okay, and what else? Request them to come to the 18th, meeting on the 18th, or?
Yes.
Okay,
And it's
cool.
really, it's bills of sale for the past 5 years.
Do we know that they're claiming it was hayed?
No, we don't.
Do we want to go there yet?
Oh, should I not even say it? Should I just say this is happening and I need to
Or
know
should
why?
we just say it's a violation?
Well, it
But I
may,
mean,
it
does it-
may be a violation, and
Does it make sense to assume? I mean, if they haven't said we're haying it, why would we ask for bills of sale, bills of?
in the past, they've claimed agriculture.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I can reference that and say in the past, this is, because that would be to tell them that we have previous enforcement orders.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're still
Yeah.
watching what we need to know.
It's-
The
It's a very generous benefit of the doubt.
the enforcement order that we did previously was sort of initiated because they actually trenched
Right.
to
Yeah.
try to.
Oh.
Drain
Yeah.
the field.
Try to drain
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So, and I really don't know if it looked like it had been, mowed or hayed or whatever, like before and after then, but it was really the trenching that time that
Right.
pushed us to enforce something on them, but, on the parcel.
Okay.
But there was a lot of discussion of the haying versus mowing question at that point. Just for some
It'd be
context.
interesting to, kind of roughly measure what area of wetland was cut and altered.
Yeah. Okay. That gives me
You want to get a draft started?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Is this a different property owner than the River Valley Co-op property?
I think that it might be the same. Maybe. Only because it's the .1 thing. And it says that it's the same, when you go to the property card or equivalent, it says the same real estate agency is the owner.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I'll see what Jeff has in terms of
Yeah.
contacts, and then I'll even ask the assessor's office the contact information. Otherwise, I might end up just calling the realtor and just see.
Or the LLC?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, and are there any open space updates, either Echodale West Orchard area or Lathrop?
Yeah, so I tried calling Echodale, and I have not gotten a response call from them yet, so I was gonna call
Land
them.
stewardship?
Mhm,
Okay.
yeah. So I was gonna call them again on Wednesday.
Okay.
And see if I get anything. And then, nothing new for Lathrop.
Okay. Are we ready for compliance updates? All right, Cassie, you ready?
Yeah, I am.
All right, Pleasant Street Mills, DP file number 151273.
Okay, so I have received a request for extension from Jeff Bagg, the city planner, and this was not on the agenda, so it can't be.
This will be on the next
Yeah,
agenda?
it'll be on the next agenda. But he also submitted a explanatory letter of why he's requesting this to move forward for you guys to take a look at. If you have anything else to add about He just wants to be as prepared as possible for
Okay.
this extension and be successful in this permitting.
So how long is an extension is being requested?
He's requesting that it's extended until December 20th, 2020, so not the full 3 years.
Okay.
And when I asked him if he'd rather do the full 3 years, he said he wanted to not do that, so that he would be more, it's easier to get it done, I think, yeah.
All right. No, that's fine. We will discuss that at our next meeting. All right. Next item, Lathrop Community, DP file number 151283. No updates, I'm presuming.
None.
Hey,
Williston, Northampton School off Tap Tap, DEP file number 151286, cross-country running trail improvements.
None.
City of Easthampton, Ashwaubenon Pond, DEP file number 151288, aquatic veg management.
None.
Logan Properties off O'Neill Street, was there a SWIP inspection?
So I was communicating with him about it, and let's see. So on the 28th, Mark Reed said that on Saturday, October 26th, he inspected after rain. Okay, sorry. That's the general update. He has some rain updates to tell us about, just when those occurrences happened and what the condition was after. But then on the 27th of October, Mark Reed, in response to me requesting the SWIP inspection, said that he will provide a report for this year as outlined, he said below, but I wrote a description based off the order of conditions. I have yet to receive that. But he's aware that he needs to do that, but he is not.
Is the site fully vegetated or otherwise stabilized? Because if not, then they're still doing SWIP inspections.
Yeah, I don't know. The last thing
It
that I
doesn't
asked
just
him
mean they
about-
stop work and leave it.
Okay.
They have to either fully revegetate or otherwise stabilize.
Okay. Because that was the communication that I think that I had asked him about last time I messaged him per the last meeting, was to ask if he had been conducting those growth. I didn't know that we were still wondering if we were receiving SWIPs or not from them. Because the last meeting we had talked about how we wanted those reports as they were outlined in order conditions that needed to be done. I don't know if it was post-construction or just during.
Are you talking about?
The restoration, the wetland
Yes,
restoration.
wetland
Yeah, yeah.
restoration, that's what I'm
So
talking
those are
about.
two separate things.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right, cool, yeah, so that's, I haven't asked him about
Okay.
the SWIP, I didn't know to do that, so I can ask about that next.
Yeah.
And then I also have just those general updates about when rain occurred. But so I can, tonight you should ask him about that as well?
So yeah, it's almost, they're two completely separate
Yeah.
matters.
I should definitely be one on the 28th.
Yeah, this
We
was
got
the,
slammed with rain on the 27th.
yeah, so actually what he's saying is he did a site inspection on Saturday, October 26th, after 0.8 inches of rain the week of 10/21, and again today after 1.3 inches of rain on Sunday. So he did do a post.
Yeah, there's other sides.
So basically he's stopped doing the detailed reports and he's just been providing these emails, which is not really a SWIP inspection. Also, you could perhaps suggest that he no longer need copy Mallory Larkham.
Yeah. So instead of just those email updates, I need a more official report.
I mean, that's not truly a SWIP inspection report.
Okay.
They usually identify, I mean, they have photos and,
Yeah, 'cause he's giving me those for holistic.
right,
So
so, yeah.
it's a cost issue for that. I guess.
I'm aware, that's a consideration, but that's not our consideration.
No, I know.
Sorry, Mr. Bowden, you're right. All right,
So can I reference that? Can I maybe be more akin to?
yeah,
The ones you're
can you
giving-
provide reports that are consistent with past reports for this site?
Cool.
Because those were the reports that were being provided before.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, that'd be great. And then also the status of wetland monitoring and
Right,
those
okay.
reports.
Yeah. So those
which are-
that one I'm still waiting on. He knows that I need the way that those need to be presented and everything like that. So I don't know if those have begun, but he just told me he'd get those reports, and I have not. I've yet to receive them.
Okay. All right. Next item, City of Easthampton, Whitebrook, Broadbrook, DEP file number 151268.
None.
Holistic Industries, 155 Northampton Street, DEP file number 151296.
So, let's see. So when there was concern about the knotweed removal that was
Yes.
talked about in the last report that they gave us, and I asked him about that, and he said that the contractor followed the attached revised invasive management plan and removed root matter as best as they could without any damage to the vegetation and slope down the resource area. No Roundup was used in the resource area. He provided this invasive species management plan by GCA to me.
But
And
was
then-
it used in the buffer zone immediately adjacent to?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. He just said none was used in the resource area. And then these are all of the other inspections from 26th, the 28th, and the 1st.
When was our last site visit there?
So,
Have we been there recently?
No.
I'm gonna look in the file to see if we have file on this one.
What's going on in Black and White?
Yeah.
So, construction.
It almost looks like there's snow.
Yeah, I can. Want me to print them in color next time? I think he's giving me color.
That'd be helpful. I didn't realize we got over an inch of rain on Halloween.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
I heard the wind. I didn't realize it rained that much.
Yeah, it did. And out there.
It let up just in time for trick or treating.
Oh, that really did.
amazing.
Oh, it was, okay, it rained earlier, yes, I remember.
Yep.
And then it rained after.
Yep.
I may have more files like on the computer.
Well, I'm hoping that there's no paper file in the.
There might be a different one that's in the.
Okay, so those files should eventually migrate with the
Yeah.
rest of our
Yeah, for
files
sure.
when you have a chance to read through. Because I'm either electronic or otherwise, I'm hoping we have something that, because I feel certain that the proposal of using Roundup would have been discussed in detail. Okay. Especially since, given the nature of Japanese knotweed and management techniques, and that's not one of them,
Right.
so.
All right, so I'm gonna look for original mention of Roundup use in the original order of conditions, if at all.
And any follow-up communication, and it might be helpful to look at the meeting minutes around leading up to the date of issuance of the order of conditions, to see if we captured anything about that, with the particular means and methods of knotweed removal or management in the minutes.
We definitely discussed this, maybe.
I know.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So next two items, one Industrial Lofts LLC, 1 Ferry Street, tracts 1 and 2, DEP file numbers 151298 and 299. Any updates?
Yeah, so last meeting we had discussed that we wanted inspection reports that included the ENOI and NPEDES tracking numbers. I contacted Rob Levesque and Mike Michon about that. Levesque reported to me on October 30th that he was working on getting those to me. So that's where I'm at. I'm waiting to receive those.
Okay, I would follow up with him this week, because quite frankly, those documents should be prepared and available as PDFs that he hit send on. So unless they're significantly large file sizes and he needs to do some sort of Dropbox situation, there should not be a holdup.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, next item, Easthampton Park Solar 1 LLC, 232 Park Street, DP file number 151293.
None.
No updates. Michael, do you concur?
I concur.
Oh, okay.
Michael lives to the south of that
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
and is privy to activity on the site.
Gotcha.
Okay. River Valley Co-op Market, 228 Northampton Street, DP file number 151301.
None. There was like stirrings that they were like, oh, work was gonna start and nothing happened. So I don't know if any of you guys heard a rumor like that, but it was not a real.
Okay.
So.
Do we know if their order got recorded? Can you follow
I
up
can
on that?
check, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good like checklist item
Mhm.
for just any file in general. Once we issue an order, is kind of
Mhm.
being cognizant because they're supposed to submit proof of recording.
Right, right.
That'd be good. All right, next item, City of Easthampton, DP file number 151302, pump house demo.
Yeah, so we conducted a site visit with Mike Owens and Diane Rossini, and then Mike and Jay were able to both attend as well. That was on the October 31st. So they informed us that they finally got a hold of the contractor and plan to reinstall the erosion measures next week. So I guess that would be this week. And then we'll check with them and give them the go-ahead to be in work after we check on that erosion. We discussed that that would happen before any more work carried out. And then the contractor projected to be starting on November 21st. And yeah, so basically the work got stalled because of the contractor just kind of disappeared for a little bit there. But after some communication with the mayor, it was righted. So
They were installed today.
nice.
They
Oh,
were
nice.
so-
Okay. Great. So hopefully I can go check those out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
There was a question though for the restoration. What type of seed was to be used? He said that he checked the order and it did not.
Was it in the NOI or whatever? Was it in the notice of intent that they filed?
I'm not sure. I can check.
So I would check the notice of intent and the notes on the drawings that they filed.
Okay.
And then I would revisit the meeting minutes.
Okay.
I feel like that was they were gonna
Erosion
tell us.
control mix for dry sites.
No, I was gonna say, I thought that there was a question as to whether they were gonna be disturbing anything at all. There was talk about using a crane and not disturbing the slope, and
They
they
drove down the bank.
yeah, and then it was,
Never mind.
and then I think it was like, oh, we'll come up, we'll work with you to determine the seed mix if we have to, or something like that.
Uh-huh.
I thought
So
that's what
I
it
would-
was.
You're right. That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say if they're looking for guidance on the seed mix, that they should propose something that is native
Okay.
to Hampshire County. Or species composition that is native to Hampshire County.
What did you say? They dropped stuff off? I saw,
And it's mostly staked in.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he was gonna email me when it was done. So.
It didn't look totally, I mean, there was a lot of.
It was big stuff.
Yeah,
A lot of
a
stuff.
lot of stuff.
Great. I think that was it. Yes.
Okay. So next item, City of Easthampton, DP file number 151303, roadway improvements and maintenance of Ferry Street and Pleasant and Lovefield Streets intersection.
Okay, yeah, we also conducted the site visit for this location on October 31st. Mike and Jay went, as well as Mike Owens and Diane Rossini, and the contractors were there as well. We basically just installed the file number signs along, what street was that?
Very.
Ferry Street, along Ferry Street, where the work was going to be done, basically along the pond there. And then we just reiterated where the compost tubing was going to be placed. And it was basically a question of whether it was going to be inside the guardrail or outside the guardrail that was going to be removed. And they were talking about work in terms of those stone kind of embankment, retaining wall, things needed to be moved and fixed, but they were gonna do that.
Have they done the vegetation cutting so that they could do the inspection? Okay.
They
It was
did.
cut, yes.
All right.
And yeah, there was, I don't know if they were done doing the inspection or not, I can't
Okay.
remember, but,
I thought I saw the dam people inspected and gave the okay.
I think that, yeah, I think you're right, that's what it was. I have also printed out, they also provided more maps that weren't in our original, this didn't get included in the original files, that has the grading, erosion, and sedimentation control plan on them, if you guys want to see those, but I added those to our records, so. I don't know, I think it just maybe fell through the cracks in terms of the filing, but it's the last two ones that are explicitly the grading and erosion control. Those are the no.
The only question was those big stones, a couple of them, like 3 of them fell into the
Into the
bank of the
ponds,
pond. And what were they gonna do with that?
They were gonna try to fish them out of there with an excavator, I think, without
Well,
disturbing
they-
anything, yeah.
That would be a neat trick, but that's completely, that's completely contradictory to everything they said during the hearing.
Okay.
So, no, they need to leave them there.
Okay, I can communicate that to him.
Thank you.
That would inherently be a disturbance.
So these are, I think, for work outside mostly outside the buffer zone.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that's why they weren't
Yeah.
as much included. Cool. No, anyone? Bueller? Bueller?
It's a big
Okay.
slope across that roundabout, it's gonna be like a tilt-a-whirl.
That's because it's still alive. Okay, next item, Beacon Solar LLC, DEP file number 151304, solar at 50 Florence Road.
So the last meeting I said there was no schedule of work.
Yeah.
And everything is good, but the SMART was potentially holding it back, and I have no updates considering that since.
And do we know whether or not that order was recorded?
No, but I can check.
Okay. All right, next item, Easthampton School Committee, DEP file number 151305, construction of new school building associated, blah, blah, blah. 200 Park Street.
Yeah, so I checked and that one was recorded.
Yay!
Good to go.
Can we make a note of that for the record?
Yeah.
Do we have the recording info?
I can get it if you like.
Not this very second,
Okay.
just in general, in the file. Okay,
Okay.
great. Any other updates?
Nope, that's it.
All right. Next item, City of Easthampton, DP file number 151306, maintenance activities, including spreading of gravel millings in pothole areas in River Street.
I'm still waiting for that request for certificate of compliance, so I'm gonna
Okay.
reach out to him again and
That sounds
see what he
good.
says.
All right. Are we ready? General business? Meeting minutes, October 21st, 2019. I did not have a chance to go through, so I suggest we table this to our next meeting. Is there a motion to table this until our next
Motion to
meeting?
table until the November 18th meeting.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So moved. All right, next item. Commission is in receipt of a notice of intent, DEP file number 151297, filed by Easthampton Park Solar 1 LLC for solar project at Westview Terrace, map 165, lot 47, filed 4/10/2018, identified as date of filing by Mass DEP. This filing will expire in 2 years. There has been no public notice or butter notification associated with it. So as of barring any changes, this notice of intent will expire on 4/10/2020, and we will remove this item from our agenda at that time. Next item, receipt of billing question from GZA in regard to delineation at 50 Florence Road.
Okay, so this is a bill in which the final, we had originally, I guess, expected $5,500 to be the final bill, and there was more because there's 3 additional hours of consulting that was completed by GCA, and it was for the 50 Florence Road wetland delineation. I went back and reviewed the minutes as well as the video from 5/6/2019 meeting and the 4/22/2019 meeting. On the 4/22 meeting, at about 55+ minute mark, it does appear that additional delineation was requested. And I don't know, there wasn't necessarily like explicit discussion that this would mean that we would get charged more, or that was but it did seem like that was the case. I don't know if anyone wants to review that themselves to make sure that makes sense for me to interpret it that way, but it seems potentially.
I mean, you can't verbally
And
offer
here's-
somebody to do something,
Right.
you know.
What was the date on that video?
4/22 and 5/16, but the
But which video was
4/22
it on?
one.
It's on 4/22/2019 at about 55 minutes. It begins. It's kind of near the end. So I don't know where that puts us. They were kind of.
That might be a conversation with Mike Jones. He's the city's procurement officer, right?
Okay. Yeah, and should I just ask him,
Yeah.
like, if that's something that we. Okay.
I mean, alternatively, we pay them the lump sum amount and resolve whatever the remainder is after the fact.
So you're saying do the 5,500 and then deal with the rest
Yeah,
later?
because
Okay.
that's what the agreement was.
And yeah, what are the steps for paying for just the 5 or any of it? I don't know either. I can text to Jeff.
Yeah, that would be a Jeff, potentially a Mike Jones.
Okay.
But I did send you the proposals, right?
Yep.
So,
But it
And that
is-
amount should have gone into an escrow account.
Okay.
Mr. Budrick.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at here, but it's a copy of their terms and conditions. And somebody added in writing relative to services, GZO performing services, blah, 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 any request or direction from you that would require extra work or additional time for performance.
Does our signed copy include that?
Will be the subject of a negotiated amendment or change order and
That
shall
was-
not be undertaken without prior written approval from the city of Easthampton for any services exceeding
I don't know who wrote that
$5,500.
in.
Right.
Well, either way,
It was
if there's
initial.
no prior written approval, then it was their screw up.
Yeah, so somebody went through and redlined these
Terms and
terms
conditions.
and conditions,
Okay.
likely before this invoice.
So one of the emails they sent me, he said it wasn't a huge sum of money and they would just let it, they were like, oh, it's not a huge deal, but if we could.
Well,
Kind of
I
interesting
say
wording.
we definitely,
Yeah.
work out the payment of the agreed upon lump sum,
Mm-hmm.
or the contractually
Okay.
agreed upon lump sum, and then ask questions about the rest.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Next item, receipt of request by Easthampton staff engineer Diane Rossini for a letter of support from the Conservation Commission for a municipal vulnerability action grant. What does Ms. Rossini need?
So she was wondering if you guys would essentially attach your signatures to this pre-prepared letter of recommendation for this grant that she's trying to apply for. She needs it by the 7th, so that's why I brought it here today.
Okay.
You can take a look at it if you'd like. It sounds like it's for good things.
Email to us.
Well, it needs to be signed and get it to her, so if you guys feel good about it and want to sign it
Okay.
tonight, that'd be great.
Jess,
but-
can you make note that Julie Buson needs to recuse herself from participating in this activity?
And let's see, so she sent me an email about it that kind of explained it a little bit more. That said we are in the process of applying for a municipal vulnerability action grant through the Massachusetts Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. This grant is meant to help municipalities combat the effects of climate change. With the increased occurrence of higher intensity storms over the last few years and expected in years to come, the grant is aimed to help cities mitigate storm damage. Easthampton completed the planning portion of this program last fiscal year and is now hoping to apply those findings to some projects within the city. Specifically, we are looking to fund a citywide green infrastructure plan and complete design and permitting of 2 known projects. The 2 projects are drainage outfalls at the end of the pipe drainage system on Cherry Street and Industrial Parkway, where storm water release into the natural streams. For this, we would greatly appreciate your and/or the Conservation Commission's help and support with a letter of support for our grant application. This is the template that I filled in all the appropriate information regarding the Conservation Commission that you can use if you so choose. So if you want to do a different letter, that's fine as well. But it would be tricky because she just said she needed it by the 7th to submit the grant. So I just need to, if you wanted to come in to sign it, and we'd have to figure it out that way. If you want to do a different letter.
Where's the letter? Oh, sorry.
It's making
Michael's
me
reading. Sorry, Michael. No, finish reading it, I'm sorry.
I should write all that.
Dang.
Can I just sign that? Just sign that tonight?
Right.
I'd like to see what I'm saying.
That's weird.
I don't think I have questions on that.
That's not a nice thing to call your husband.
Are there any typos, Mops?
I read it.
I like the 1980s font, city meetings later. Haven't seen it in a long time. It's like Ken salad dressing.
I don't miss it.
I hate jagged edge.
The syrups?
This.
Oh.
Since that's
I've been conditioned.
What is the Fuss O'Neill standard?
Jagged edge.
The jagged edge, or at least it used to be. Like,
Sorry. I did that question. Industrial Parkway in Cherry Street.
Where's Terrace?
Top of near East Green Street.
Near
It's in the tree
Butterfield.
section.
Must be Palmer.
It's on this. It's on the 141 side of Mutter. And What's the matter?
Doesn't matter if
This is so wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not being generous, though. It's the statues and
Is this my dinner?
We're playing ahead.
It's a balanced meal, Cassie.
Exactly. Some sprigs and scales somehow.
Got your sugar and
I'm bouncing off the walls.
Alright. Are we okay with this letter? I'm okay with this letter.
Woohoo. Yeah, you could all just sign it then. And maybe write in like print as well your name.
Can sign
I don't know if
it
that's
for
super
days,
necessary, but.
take up 2 spots.
Right.
I'll send it together as this, but I think it's just for you to sign.
Okay.
Excellent. I don't know if
You wanna bring it over?
Yeah.
Probably.
This is not on the agenda.
Oh.
I don't know if it's just for you or.
Yeah, no,
Maybe we can do it.
That's fine. I guess I'm. R-E-C-U-S-E-D.
Yeah.
Doesn't like it.
Cassie, did the old trolley line thing get moved off the agenda?
Added
We
it
have
to
to
the
talk about it.
Oh yeah, I don't know, because the commission kind of, they didn't need any documents, they're done.
Okay.
The site visit was just nice, yeah. Because they did I believe it was an RDA, I remember.
They did.
So, it was just nice to check it.
So did we actually find the,
Oh, the trail.
was the bridge actually
Yes.
found?
Yeah, it was there.
Okay.
We viewed another one, so we went with
Okay.
Garrett.
Don't
I took pictures, I had pictures if anyone wants to see, it looks.
I feel like it was the bridge with the least impact that I've ever seen on a trail.
Okay.
That was a nice
It was
break.
so dumb.
Is there a motion to
Motion
adjourn?
adjourned.
Let's do that.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. At, boom, 7:32.
Record time.
Pretty good.